The biggest one starts with a man in the water being chased by a giant fish. At this, a sphere-shaped energy appears, and when he went to grab this energy, the fish ended up devouring it. It turns out that this was all a dream. He wakes up terrified and wonders, what kind of silly dream was that? Suddenly changes the scene and it is raining. We are told that this is a normal day like any other. Shin gets out of the car and walks among these people who give him greetings, calling him the CEO. That was the day that changed his life. At this, a man shows the graph, where operating profit has declined by 10% compared to last year. They believe it is possible to turn to a surplus in the second quarter by strengthening active investment and capabilities. When will he talk about the new business? The prota tells him to stop, had thanked him for his hard work and said he must have been working hard, preparing the materials with a straight face. He asks the man if he worked hard just to prepare the materials and said the presentation was crap. He then gets up from the table and says that many people work hard, and if he wants to secure his position, he better work harder. The prota gets back in his car and drives to his next appointment. The man says he can't believe they are part of the council, and on his cell phone he is talking to his wife. She asks, what time will he come today? For it is the birthday of Anju, and he replies that he will not be able to go today. He asks the driver here if there is a store near the client where he can buy toys. The driver says yes, and when Prohota goes to talk, the car ends up hitting another car. Two men get out of the car and help him. A guy who was fishing said he thinks there is a big guy in near the submerged trees. This man appears again, but now he has two men behind him and the prota is on his knees. Right behind him too. The hooded man talks and leaves disappointed in that they used to fish together, however, they don't fish anymore. The man adds that he never called him because he was busy taking care of his rice pot. He then asks, how have you been all this time? The proton asks, why are you doing this? The president congs and asks if he has no idea what it might be, and that he is a smart man. Basically, thanks to Shin, he can become the president of the group. I cussed him out, afraid he might take it all because he knows too much and is like a bomb of secrets that should never come out. The prota disc Kong will regret this, and the president, with a sinister face, talks about that he will remember this. Finally, he says that the prota has worked hard all this time, but in the end it's your fault, Shin. Then, he gets a blow to his head. Kong and asks what today's agenda will be, and one of his henchmen tells him that he will have a dinner with director Kim and has about 4 hours left. On a speedboat, they are taking Shin and then throwing him into the sea. He then says that he didn't think AI would die like this, and a memory of him comes up. Shin is returning the money to Konge, and the same asks if he really is already returning the money. The prota says there was a way, and also Kong had given him money before. When he AI closed the door, Kong Fu on his hand in front and tells the boy to work with him, coming back to reality. Shin find this funny and can't believe this is the result after 16 years working together. Another memory is shown to us, however now it is of his daughter. She asks why he always comes back in the afternoon, and his wife also asks, is it because he doesn't give attention to his family at once? He was talking about how he has many things he hasn't done for his family, and a message appears saying, if he would like to start a new life. He thinks he is hallucinating and wonders if he can start again. The message says yes, and an energy in the form of a sphere appears, but it is for him to answer soon, because he has little time. Yes, do you agree to start again? And he is asked to choose the species he wants to be reborn. We are shown the options, and the man tells us to wait and to let them at least be human. He is running out of air and time is running out. Then this being will make a random choice. Before Shin loses consciousness, Shin asks to wait, and the being speaks that he hopes his wishes will be fulfilled in the light. It starts to shine brighter, and we see the great devourer of the seas is actually just this little fish. It's no big deal right there. Moving on, he is then reincarnated as a sea bass, and a card with his characteristics is shown to us. Forgive me, but it's very funny the status of the crazy as fried a while ago had was talking to a Kong, and he asks Shin if he wants to fish tomorrow. Shin, I didn't understand why he would ask that out of the blue. And the man answers him that he's been very busy recently, so it's for them to get some fresh air together. Yes. He asks if he wants his allowance in Kong to increase and asks if that can stay between them. The man talks about how he likes all kinds of hobbies, but there is nothing like fishing. He adds that nature changes the weather, unlike games with organized rules. And he also says he never takes anyone with him, but he will make an exception. Yes. He says that because this motif is so big, he will get an extra bonus. A logo appears and they are fishing. Shin manages to catch a fish in Kong and tells him he has a talent for it. Finally, yes, ask here, Fish that and Kong and the replies that it's a base. Back to reality. Stim says he is very ugly and a message pops up saying, "Congratulations on becoming a sea bass." He can't believe this could be happening as he was a very important person and now he has become a simple sea bass. Your main mission is to overcome the difficulties you encounter and become a master of the lake and also the skill of predation. It has been acquired. He is still not believing it and thinks this can only be a dream. China then hits a stone to wake up and his body is paralyzed because of this great shock. He finally accepts that he has become a base and wonders if he will have to live like this from now on. The fish start cursing for hitting a stone and very angry asks why the paralysis has not yet passed. Yes, he is really terrified. And he asks, what can he do being a sea bass and that if the system is going to give him chances, then it is to give him now. Another message appears, but now it is a mission. Tutorial. In it says that he hatched from an egg and he is supposed to eat something to fill his stomach and his quest reward will be someone's memory. The sea bass was so distracted that he only just realized that this is that not even a quest. He can see the quest rewards and he remembers that they told him to finish the quest so that his wish will come true. He wonders if with that wish, he will be able to go back to being a human and changing the picture. Director Kong and asks him if he knows that he only trusts his. Yoo Shin speaks that it was Director Kong who made him become that man he was and now for his family, who is waiting for him, he has to go back. It has been more than 10 years since he started fishing with Director Kong for the fishing experience. So far he has a good understanding of the freshwater ecosystem. The fish will then fulfill his mission to fill his satiety and it is not to underestimate him as he will make it back home while he will attack a bug to eat. Is another fish faster and gets to eat first? The sea bass sees that everyone is eating everything that comes their way and that this is the world that the strongest wins. So he will have to be faster than them. Shin tries several times to feed himself but all were failed attempts and his stamina dropped and stopped all activities. A fish comments to eat together and Shin calls them imbeciles, as they are eating each other and not eating together. The sea bass then takes a market strategy to their new world. If efficiency decreases because of the high number of competitors, you can target other markets. That is, he will change his prey and probably a place that he is. It turns out that now many bigger fish are about to prey on him and he ends up being forced to flee. To make matters worse, another fish with an unknown level appears and he is about to be devoured. Incredibly, the fish doesn't eat him and just goes after the one it was chasing. The sea bass is left without understanding, but the fish that was supposedly about to devour him is his father, we are told, so who then wants to steal him? Female lays eggs, the male sea bass stays and protects the place. This species has a strong paternal love and instinctively sprout from their eggs. And when AIB explained the birth part and the growing part, the female of the hat interrupts asking what he is watching. He answers her that it is the beginning of the fishing season. Since he cannot fish today, he is watching this video. His wife asks if he can't just hand over his work to someone else and rest, as he is so busy that they don't get to eat together often. He answers her that he gets nervous and doesn't know what they would do. The woman, apparently sad, and asks if he regrets getting married. And he doesn't understand what she meant. The woman talks about it being hard for her and she knows he is trying too, but they have a daughter called Yuju and asks if he can't give them more time. He simply replies no and that she seems to be tired because of fatherhood. So will he hire someone to sort it out? Back to the sea bass world. It is explained that the male sea bass sweeps the ground until his tail is tattered to remove the sediments and make a generation ground on it and wait for the female after the birth ground is ready. The female sea bass appears to lay her eggs. After this process, the female leaves and leaves the male alone with his tired body and without food. He protects his offspring from natural enemies. After a while, the fish took a break to look at what happened. As much as at the beginning he had difficulties to open the mission window, now he got used to it and the goal now is to find out what environments he is in, and he comments that he should have been calm in this situation and was reckless without doing some investigation. In short, he was lucky to survive. He sees few fish around here, and they are not big enough to threaten him after his father, sea bass. Of course few are waiting for an opportunity, but it seems they are being careful within the skills he gained when he became sea bass. There are 3 skills he has focus on, the first one being eating, which is level 1 after he digests the enemy he ate. This will be calculated in experience points and can also steal a special skill that the opponent had. As much as it seems to be useful, he will ignore it for now as he hasn't eaten anything yet. The next skill is danger detection. This skill makes him able to check his enemy's information that is within his range of vision, making him able to guess the enemy's attack in advance. With that, this skill differs by the color of his enemies when the color is blue. It will be a yellow friend, it will be neutral and red for an enemy. The base even calls the fish behind him heartless, because just because he is a bit bigger, he treats his brethren like a prey. The fish, after making an investigation, states that he cannot compete with these other fish, otherwise, he will end up starving. So he's going to have to move out of the birth ground, where they don't go every time he looks at this other part. It looks like it has a much better environment, and after he says that, a plankton is spotted and he finally gets to eat. After that food, his satiety is 30 bars 100 feet 70. He will manage to complete the mission. The sea bass comments that he will not eat this anymore as it looks strange, but fortunately he does not taste anything. Like it or not, this food does not have so many competitors, and as a plankton fills about 30% of satiety. That will be enough to quickly reach 100% of satiety. Shin can eat so many that he has filled 91% of his satiety. The sea bass is using its hunting skill. This skill makes him move forward quickly and with sudden force. It makes him run for 1 meter and is very important for him as he has no swimming skill. The downside is that it uses a lot of energy, and that's what just happened, but luckily his father was there to defend him, changing the scene a man who is going fishing. He says he needs to catch a big fish to make the video worth sending. This man then spots a daddy bass and is already happy. With that in it, Shin's satiation mission has been completed. With that, he got 10 experience points and increased to level 2. His body has increased a bit and he has obtained someone's memory as an additional reward. The fish now goes to check the memory he received and gets a surprised look on his face at what is happening. He had seen his wife, apparently sad, sitting on the couch. His mother calls her. He asks if Yuju's birthday was good. She replies yes, and that she joked until she was tired now about her husband. Well, the same old thing. He was busy and couldn't come back because of work, but thanks to him they are fine and that they don't have to worry about them. Finally, her mother says that she really loves her husband very much, and the daughter replies that she pulled for her. In this, Shin gets very sad, and while he is leaving, he says that he will be back soon. A new mission appears, and because his body is bigger, he needs more energy, so now his satiation mission is up to 200. The determined fish moves on, as he too already knows the trick to completing this mission. Shin talks about how since he was reincarnated as a fish, he already knows what things are precious and that his life was all about chasing money, and we are shown footage from when he was a child, who apparently seems to be quite poor. We are told that what was his was taken away at that point and that they ran away because we have nothing on it. Fish are about to attack. But he uses his dest skill to run away, which turns out to be no use, and once again, his father. I defended. Shin talks about his parents being trustworthy people and wonders why he's been working all this time. The little fish regains his energy and says he needs to eat just one more bug to complete the mission. His danger detector detects another fish and wonders if he has tried to eat it. He also wonders what he ate to level up so quickly. A bait is thrown into the sea and he says that it fell exactly on the birthplace, and that means he was right. And that it's a spawning fishery, which is to catch the male bass. Tim worries about that, because if the father bass sees that, he might attack them thinking it's an intruder. He says that if the father bass was caught, it would be difficult to survive as he is the one protecting it. The fish remembers that in his past life, that man said that the stolen one cannot see him as he becomes suspicious and does not take the bait. His plan is to draw the attention of his father, bass, to the fisherman, and while he is thinking about it, a fish mauled him and is about to eat him. But the worst is about to happen. The father, bass, is about to take the bait. Well, the recap is over here, and thanks for you getting to the end. I ask you to leave your like and subscribe to the channel, and until the next video.